You are listening to Nightline Africa on the English service of the Voice of America. I'm your host, Peter Clotte in Washington, D.C. Coming up in the second half of Nightline Africa, the Saturday music spot from our collection of music from the continent. But first, a rebel group in the Democratic Republic of Congo says it plans to overrun the capital Kinshasa to remove President Joseph Kabila from power. Led by General William Yakutumba, the rebel group calling itself the National People's Coalition for the Sovereignty of Congo says the refusal of the government to hold elections to ensure a smooth transition is a flagrant violation of the agreement signed with the opposition Rassemblement. Freddy Mbuyamu Matungulu is also the leader of the opposition Congo Nabiso Party, or A-Congo, in the local Lingala language, joins me live here in the VOA studios in Washington to discuss the latest development in the DRC. Hello, Freddy.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Do these rebels have what it takes to overrun the capital Kinshasa and remove President Joseph Kabila as they threatened to do?
Well, I think that really remains to be seen. What is important that these rebels are saying, that is shared by the great majority of the population of Democratic Republic of Congo, is that the constitution of this country have got to be respected, which means we have got to, as soon as possible, go to these elections and make sure that President Kabila doesn't seek a third term as required by the Constitution. I think that's
he said he made
message.
no promises. He said he made no promises when he signed an agreement with the Rassemblement, which called for a transition, for him to lead a transition, and then elections to be held at the end of the year. It's close to the year, no sign of elections.
Absolutely. That's something that everybody in the Congo today regrets a lot, deplores, I would say. Whether he'd made any promises or not, this is what the Constitution calls for, and this has to be done. I'm using the opportunity to express once more my disappointment over the fact that, as you've indicated, under the December 31st agreement of last year, the Congolese were supposed to go to election before the end of 2017. And as you've so rightly pointed out, we're going to the end of the year. And unfortunately, once more, there's not been enough progress in that direction. And that's the reason why a lot of the Congolese, when you listen to them today, many are really thinking that in order for us to have elections under the Constitution or under the agreement or in any form, it's going to be important that there is an administration that is not headed by President Kabila. He has been unable, unfortunately, so far, to really squarely put the country on the road to the election that everybody's waiting for.
You were part of the Rassemblement that negotiated with the agreement. What is left to be done now that it appears the agreement has been violated despite the mediation efforts by the Catholic priests?
I think what's really important is for us to have a roadmap, in other words, an electoral calendar that indicates exactly when the election will take place and what will be the steps running up to that election. And I think that's what everybody is really waiting for. Hopefully, the National Election Committee will come up with that electoral calendar soon. That's what we all are waiting for.
The government says that elections will happen. The ongoing voter registration is proof that it has the political will to organize elections to pave way for the next administration. However, it seemed not to be moving. You are displeased with the process of the voter registration. Why?
I think some of the criticism that we are leveling against what has been accomplished is in the nature of some of the numbers we've seen. Some of the regions of the country seem to be showing increases in the potential number of voters of 67% over what they had actually registered in 2011. So there are some serious issues about the data that the Commission has put out. But as you know, once you've completed taking the data in, follows a time of reconciliation of the data to clean up the registry, and it is a hope, my hope personally, that this will provide us with an opportunity to make sure that what comes out of the whole process is an electoral registry that is good for us to have a good election, one that will now be contested once it's been run.
What's next for your party, Congo Nabiso Party? Do you have the national appeal to seriously contend for the presidency of the Democratic Republic of Congo?
No, we definitely have the appeal. We have a good message of change, of improvement in the governance, economic, political governance of the country. As you know, what's really lacking to the Democratic Republic of Congo today is precisely those intangible ingredients, good governance. That is important to make sure that the country is run, the economy is run in such a way that the breaches of the country can really be benefiting the whole nation. We as Congo Nabiso are working hard to put that message across to the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo. We've had the opportunity of being in government as a finance minister and of a record when we were there of managing public goods and public service in the best way possible in the interest of the people. And I think the people of Congo know this. They're just waiting for the time when eventually we'll go to that election. And I'm very confident that when that time comes, we'll have a good record in the voting.
One of your colleagues at the IMF also running for president in Congo says that your tenure as the finance minister did not bode well for the country, and that some of the measures you put in to stabilize the country were faulty. A PhD holder just like you. What do you say to such criticisms leveled against you?
Well, I don't. There's nobody from the IMF that is running for president other than me. I think there's a fellow countryman who is from the World Bank.
World Bank, rather.
Yes. Unfortunately, I've not heard exactly what he's been saying about me. But, my record is there for everybody to see. You go to the many IMF reports, you go to all the reports that are out there for anybody to see. We found a country that was in disarray economically when we went in, with inflation running higher than 500%, with growth that had been negative for several years before we came in. And when you look at what we were able to accomplish, inflation brought down to less than 10% when we were there, and a resumption of growth. I think, all these things are there for anybody to see. I have, absolute confidence that if you're looking at this objectively, you'll see what we're able to accomplish.
Critics are saying that when you are running for president, lofty promises are made. You have schooled here in the U.S., so you know how to talk, they said. However, when you get into power, it's about grabbing what you can get and forget about the citizens who you promised heaven on earth. What would be different?
But that's exactly the difference between me and some of these people who are coming out who've never run anything in the country. I have been there as finance minister, and contrary to what anybody could be saying along the lines of what you said, my record is very clear. I came in there, I talked about things positively, and I did them. I was not promising. And the reason why, in fact, I resigned from my position as finance minister, something that nobody has ever done before or after me, was because, the kind of reforms that I was putting in place for the country, unfortunately, were not being supported, particularly by the head of state. So I'm not talking theory here. I'm talking about practice, a record. I went in there, did what needed to be done, and everybody saw what I was doing. I'm not promising anything. I'm just, trying to get a new opportunity to go back and continue with the reforms that I started, which unfortunately stalled. And today, when you look at the record of economic governance in the country, you will see that I was right in doing what I did.
So if Congolese repose confidence in you, they elect you as the president, what should they expect under your leadership? in terms of the improving their living conditions, in terms of healthcare, in terms of protection, in terms of maintaining the country's territorial integrity, in terms of protecting life and property, in terms of ensuring that the borders are secure.
But that's exactly what we intend to do, make sure that there's good governance, which will entail improvements in essentially all sectors of life in the country. Security-wise, we have to make sure that there is accountability. If you are holding a region of the country that is being, as we see now, under such a level of instability, there's not going to be any reason for us to keep you there. The same thing, you're managing the economy under our responsibility. If you're responsible for stealing government goods, we will make sure that you are severely punished. I think this is really what's lacking in the country. We have a good culture of governance, a good governance. I'm not afraid of saying that I was in the IMF for 22 years, and I know for 22 years all I did was talking about good governance with officials from countries, the world over. So for me, it's not just a slogan. I'm talking about things that I know what to do, how to do them, and I have the opportunity to do them, including in the Democratic Republic of Congo as finance minister. Everybody saw that. That's the big difference between me and some of those people that are running around who've never run anything in the country.
Freddy Mbuyamu Matungulu is the leader of the opposition Congo Nabiso Party, or Our Congo in the local Lingala language in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. He joined me at the Voice of America studios live here in Washington.